proclaim, rejoice, adore, inspire, serve, exalt, raise. Welcome to the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and 49th anniversary celebration of the Talon-Talon Main Alliance Evangelical Church. We have been here for 49 years, but the big question remains, who are we? Let me invite you to review our history. It all began in 1947 when CMA workers met in Cotabato to form a national church. They are Reverend Bulnes of Ala, Reverend Salon of Bago, Reverend Cabadin of Balacatan, Reverend Martinez of Barayong, Miss Robles of Bulatucan, Mr. Bautista of Kalinan, Reverend Pabellon of Cotabato, Reverend Bulnes of Clan Sarangan, Reverend Aragon of Sidapawan, Reverend Bulnes for Coronadal, Reverend De Jesus of Sulu, Reverend Abad of Ubi, Maguindanao, and of course, Reverend Jeremiah Sulaka of Sambuang. These were the original 13 independent churches that formed that would later called the Christian and Missionary Alliance Churches of the Philippines. Then in 1949, 2 years later, Kamakop is registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and formally have written its constitution. After that, Kamakop grew. In the peak of its growth in 1972-1978, under the presidency of then Reverend Leo de Gario Madrigal, Kamakop experienced the largest rate of growth from 400 in 1972 to 800 in 1978. This is where the backdrop of Talon-Talon Main comes in. In 1973, American missionaries Reverend Mrs. Floyd Gibbs started the work in Barangay Talon-Talon through Bible study to the following families: Reverend Mrs. John Bautista, Mr. and Mrs. Felipe Tomales Sr., Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Silorio, and Mr. and Mrs. Cesar Tarazon. The Lord's faithfulness has endured because in 1975, a house church was constructed at the garage of the residence of Brother Cesar Tarazon, officially recognized as the Zamboanga Evangelical Church, Talon-Talon Extension. Kamakop documents would later show that Talon-Talon Main Alliance Evangelical Church was planted by the Zamboanga City Alliance Evangelical Church in 1975, along with Santa Barbara, Giwan, Tumaga, and Rio Hondo. In 1984, 40 years ago, the church purchased a 1,000 square meter lot, followed by a groundbreaking ceremony during the Thanksgiving celebration. And a year later, the church building was constructed. The Lord has always been good to Talon-Talon Main as it slowly grew, both in numbers and blessings. The Lord has blessed the church as early as 1993 when it opened a regular Bible study and house church worship at Barangay Mampang, which would later become Mampang Alliance Evangelical Church, TTMAEC's daughter church. Hence, in 1994, the Talon-Talon Alliance Learning Center was established with Pastora Rose Franco Eslao as its first teacher. The Lord has indeed been good to Talon-Talon Main, and it answered the prayers of many of its members that in 2005, finally, the Church Parsonage and Junior Church Foundation was laid at the back of the church building. It was a long journey after many years of prayers and of course from our generous donors and benefactors. In 2017, exactly 12 years later, the project was finished and was formally dedicated to the Lord. Since then, the church has been blessed by the Lord faithfully for 49 years. It had seen many people grow, both in numbers and in all auxiliaries, men, women, young people, and children alike. We can see the legacy of the church still much alive, not only through our buildings here, but but through the people who still stand beside the church. So the next question we always ask, who are we then? Always remember that we are the Talon-Talon main Alliance Evangelical Church. We exist to win, integrate, disciple, engage, and rejoice. Because since 1975, we have baptized 200 or more people, more than 100 dedicated. We have one daughter church, and currently we have 60 members, 29 families, and 20 ministers have served already in this church. And we would like to celebrate 49 years of God's faithfulness. And of course, we're looking forward for our church project. By God's grace, we will achieve this in God's time. So I invite everyone to come and celebrate our 49th anniversary, thanking the Lord, celebrate His birth. We request our congregation to please rise and praise the Lord, and let us all say, proclaim, rejoice, adore, inspire, serve, and exalt. To God be the glory.